react to other people. Before we went to the break, we had been given different examples of extreme behaviors in relationships that we would like our psychologist to talk to us about. I would like him to shed light to us about what causes these traumatic incidences, and then how do these traumatic incidences manifest themselves in our day-to-day activities. Now, the first question, Dr. King, will have to be, how do these traumatic incidences happen and how do they manifest themselves? Please make sure they are relatable to the examples that we've been given here to try and answer the questions of our audience.
Yes, thank you. I want to take us back to our childhood experiences. Psychology says that what happens to you between year 1 and 6 really has a lot of impact on what happens to you and how you behave throughout your life. Okay? So in year 1, when you are born to the time you are 1.5 years, you are taken care of, you are totally dependent, and you are taken care of by people who are outside your influence, whether it is your parents or your primary caretaker, who may be a house girl or foster care, all that. And normally what happens is that you build the sense of trust at that age. That's when you learn to trust or to distrust. Someone called Sigmund Freud said that by breastfeeding, a baby bonds with a mother. And by bonding with a mother, they also they derive a lot of pleasure. And that pleasure builds their personality. If they don't breastfeed enough, they develop a sense of distrust. They feel like the world is very hostile and they cannot trust anyone. So that is a baby who is less than 1.5 years. Can you see? That means if you find yourself very hard to trust people have trust issues, then we can trace it to your
breastfeeding.
Yes. And if you over breastfeed, the child is always breastfeeding, they also have a challenge. So you have to strike a balance. Yeah. A balance between feeding the child and letting the child go. By the time 1.5 years are over, the child is mediating a crisis, a trauma, on how now to divorce from breastfeeding and the focus on breastfeeding to move to the next developmental milestone. From 1.5 years to 3 years, the child has now developed what we call sphincter muscles. So they can have breaks, they can go to the toilet, they can control their bowel movements. And so what happens is that the child will derive pleasure in controlling their toilet behavior. Are we together? Yes. So that one has been looked by psychologists as the period where the child learns to be independent. Now they are learning to be independent from the parent. When you feel like going to the toilet, you just go and you can postpone the urge to visit the washroom until an opportune time. And that control gives the child a sense of control. Now, if you don't develop that sense of control, autonomy, at that point in time, it means that throughout your life, you will be feeling like you have no control and others can step in and control you. That is why some people get susceptible to bullying. Okay? By 3 years, the child wakes up and becomes biologically male or female. Wow. The boys discover they have a manhood. The girls discover they don't have. And the boys are very proud because having a manhood is really something. And the girls feel bad because why don't I have mine? So the girls look at their mother and they see she's just like me. So she must have conspired with others to deny me mine. And so they envy their brothers because you have it.
That's serious.
So you'll find that every time a small boy is touching himself there, to confirm whether it is still there. All right. And the girl will still also touch herself there to confirm whether a miracle happened. Okay. So One of the things that you see you can threaten a small boy with is castration. If you threaten a small boy that I'll take it away, that boy will do whatever you want just to protect it. Now, by the time the boy is in 6 years, they have mediated all those developmental milestones.
Okay.
Now, if you did not mediate it properly, you get stuck. And if you get stuck, you come now to the stage where now you discover relationships. While you still feel you can't control, you are not in control, you are not in charge. And now you have this girl. Hey, I love this girl, but I don't know how to. I'll just show signs, I'll buy gifts. But if I see someone who exercises more control, it hurts me. But sijamwambia ninampenda ama ninamtaka, lakini namnunulia gifts. Nikiwa na yeye namuonyesha niko sawa, but sijawahi sema. So there is no official psychological contract. Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
But the man may be fighting a complex that was developed while this boy was growing up.
Okay.
He does not have that control. Then there is the other one. Our sister, she went into the first relationship. She got hurt. I would ask how long it took to transition to the next relationship. Because traumas or psychological or emotional hurts is like a shadow. Until you properly process that injury, if you move to the next one, imagine you are playing a football, then you sprain your ankle, and before you even get first aid, you wake up and say, game iendelee. Will you be able to play well? No. You are likely to get even more hurt, because if you are working with that sprained ankle, you are likely now to break a bone. So that is what we call chronic trauma. The first one leads to the second one. And because the first one makes you very sensitive, very hyper, alert. You are looking for any simple indicator that this may happen.
Yes.
And so you are suspicious. If it happens now, it will hurt you. It may hurt you in a small way, but you will respond the first heartache plus this heartache, you bring it in wholesale.
To one.
Yes. So now, if you have not properly processed the other one, you come into this one, and maybe the other one is coming with the trauma. Then what happens is that this person hurts you, maybe unintentionally. You overreact, so you hurt the person who may be carrying their own trauma also, and then they react. So now you become two negative energies coming together. Remember, by the way, emotion, which is the core part of any relationship. Emotion is made up of two words, energy and motion.
Yes.
It's energy in motion. And so your energy, if it is negative, and his energy, if it's negative, when they come together, they cause an explosion. So he starts seeing you being difficulty. You see him being hurtful. When you express it in a way that will hurt him, then he reacts like a man to assert his manhood. He hurts you even more. So you break that one. You have two wounds. Now you move to the third one. It's a preparation now to get a fracture. Let alone a wound. So the best thing that I would say is mediate, process, take time. Once you are given a character formation, you break up from a relationship. First of all, take time. Process this one. Ask yourself, did I do anything wrong? What part did I contribute? Was I in the wrong? Was he in the wrong?
Yes.
What would he have done better? What could I have done better?
Yes.
And then once you analyze that, and then you analyze your emotions, mediate your emotions, talk to friends if you can, talk to close people that can help you without judging you. And then when you are healed, now move on. A wound that is covered, because that's what we do, our emotional wounds, you cover it. It does not go away. It just keeps on getting worse and bigger, septic. And when a wound is septic, sometimes it stops being painful.
Yeah.
So you feel it's not painful. And when you start talking about it later, it's like washing that wound. A healing wound is more painful than a wound that is getting worse. So you mediate that when you finish, you can move to the next one.